What's going on, everybody? We made it to the weekend, that's right, and it's going to be a big one, that's for sure. The gym squeeze has already started. It's already getting squoze, as a matter of fact. But there is some surprising, collectibles that are going up in value, and we'll get into that a little bit later on. But right now, we're just going to kind of look at what's going on this weekend and where we're going to be seeing drop. So we've got the Mickey and Friends NFT collection dropping tomorrow. And I really feel like the Mickey and Minnie is probably going to be around $100 to $200 to start off, maybe pump up to $300. But I think at the end of the day, Goofy is probably he's gonna release probably in the $500 to $600 range and shoot up to $1,000 to $1,200 fairly quick. Could be wrong. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. There's a lot of hype going around Goofy. He's got that. How do you politically say this? He's had a hard time in life. I'll just say that. And I think everybody might be able to relate to that in some way, shape, or form. So I really think that Goofy is the winner. I like how they made him the secret rare. I do think he is going to shine above all, even though all these are very solid characters. So we need to get ready for that. Saturday 29th, January 8 a.m. PT, that is 10 CST my time. So if you're in that area, be sure to hit a like and let me know what time zone you're in. And then right after that, we're going to have Spider-Man, the Mighty Marvels, and the whole gang popping up there. So I feel like the Green Goblin and Spider-Man is going to steal the show here. I feel like Spider-Man will be probably around the $80 to $100 range right off the rip. I think Green Goblin is going to be probably 70, 80 right off the rip, and both these things will probably jump up 2x from there. So Spider-Man probably be at 200, cool off about 150. Green Goblin, he might actually steal the show a little bit, probably go to 200, 250 in that range. If they go more than that, I'll be shocked. And the only reason I say that is because you look back in the history of Spider-Man and how much he has just really gone up in value. I remember buying the first, granted it was first appearance common, Spider-Man for $25 all day long on the app for a very long time. And since then, now it's at like $1,000, and even the less appealing Zombie Spider-Man was down in like $35-$40 for the longest time and shot up. So I think Spider-Man will be solid going forward, especially with, potential gamification coming. It's going to be playing a big role moving forward with everything in VV, and it's going to be interesting to see how they implement the OMI token burn into games, if it's going to be able to do that, if not. And on top of that, we just got through with the migration. That's right. It took about a day and a half. We kind of figured it would. They're always ambitious on how long they think it's going to last. They were calling for 6 to 8 hours, I believe, and it was a day and a half. So, you know what? At the end of the day, go VV. And it's like I always say, tell me another crypto that has a working app on your phone other than Exchange that you can get on there and do stuff with, get collectibles, take pictures, and has just a wonderful roadmap, because I have no idea of anything else. Everything else that I know of, is kind of web-based. So they're just really plowing through everything and everybody, and this project is going to be doing incredible things, especially if Disney keeps dumping stuff on there, and if Disney ever makes it to where there's utility or Marvel, man, it's going to be crazy where this freaking app's going to go. And it's so great to know that, at the end of the day, we're all within the 1% of the world that even knows what VV is and is involved, and we are early. So be thankful, even if you are starting today when you see this video. We're still early. Make some good plays, and let's get it done. So I'm going to go ahead and jump over to the comics losers of the day, and we've got Amazing Spider-Man 293 down 25% at 550. That's almost a pretty good buy in my opinion. So the one way I'm going to play this drop coming up this weekend in this gym squeeze is I'm really going to be cherry picking off the people that are selling, way below floor price. So if it's at $100 and then at the very bottom of the page without scrolling, it's at 120. Well, that's 20% difference right there, and it's already probably been pushed down anyway. So I'm going to be buying up a lot of that stuff that's in the 20% range from just one scroll down. And there's a couple other ones that I think will do well in the long run. So let's look at some of these comics here and see what ones I'll probably be picking up that has done good for me in the past. Now, if you don't have a lot of money, one thing you can do is really hit these comics and hit it pretty hard. Even a couple $100 will go a long way. So you look at this, Immortal Hulk #1. down 20%. That's down $5. You know, $5. Get 10 of them. That's 50. You know, you got to start somewhere. The hustle's got to begin. But it was at high price of $30 at one point, down to 20 right now. And I could see this thing going back up, especially with the mass adoption that we've got going on. You know, it's a pretty good solid play, but the one you can definitely go with that always have that longevity will be the Spider-Mans for sure. And you've got the What If number one going for $31, down 18%. At $7 on the day and a 24-hour change. Now, granted, we did just get back on listing, so things kind of are a little bit wonky. This thing's probably had an all-time high of $47, sitting at $31, still going down. So I'm thinking you could probably cherry pick this around $28, $27 range would be a good buy in my opinion. So we'll look at, and this is one that's been real interesting to me. So whenever they had all these comics drop lately, this thing held real strong in the $36 to $40 range, where all the other ones kind of fell off down in the $18 to $20 range. And now this guy's sitting at 26. And I'm going to be buying this guy up anytime I can see, because when it gets close to the drop, you're going to start seeing these around the $20 range to $18 range. I've seen it in the last little mini gem squeeze we had. I bought a bunch of them, flipped them, made $4 or $5 a piece. It's not a lot, but at the end of the day, it's helping build my bag, and I think it could help yours too. And then you got Alpha Fight number one. Now, this is Canadian comic, so it's done real well overall. There's only 10,000 editions of this, and the common's going for $44. And if you look, it was hanging out around this $32 range right here, and then just blasted off to 73, you know, cooled off, and then came back up to 72. So it's making higher highs every time, you know, staying up there, going up. And right now we're in the dip of $45. I think this has got a lot of potential moving forward. It's a, you know, limited amount. It's a Canadian one, and it's got a lot of good traction going on. So that's just a few comics that, you know, in the loser bracket that you can make up and scoop up a little bit and make a little extra money. Let's jump on over to the losers, top losers in the collectibles. So you got the Cat Bronson down 21%. That's $680 down. That's a lot of money. If you big pimping and all that, hey, go right ahead and start scooping these up. These guys did pop off at an all-time high of $4,500, down to $2,500. So it's had a quite considerable pullback overall. And that was on the 10th to the 20, you know, whatever day is 28. And, you know, I wish I could have picked him up back here in the $1,000 range, especially when he first dropped $690. Oh my God. You got Lily Pad, USS Enterprise. You know, once the Trekkies start getting on here, that stuff's really going to do. That's kind of a long-term hold for me. So this is another one I want to talk about. And this is where I've learned my lesson. I've absolutely loved the serial killers since they've come out. I just thought it was kind of cool and quirky. But if you look at this graph, this has been out since October, you know, probably 20-ish. And it kind of steady at $73, kind of lifted up to 120 and then fell back down. It's just been in the $80 range. Blasted off to 200 whenever we had that big pump not too long ago. And if you look right now, he's sitting at 110. So that just tells me that, yeah, these are cool, but if you're in here to make money, this is probably not the best route to go on the serial killers, because I had all three sets, was holding on, it paid good money, got low minutes, and really it just didn't pay for me at the end. And the one thing that really helped me is once I got rid of those and started getting in these blue chips where it's Marvel and Disney and, you know, DC, I started seeing my funds go up. And I hadn't put money in the app in quite a while now. So just a little tip. They're cool. If you got a little bit, want to collect, you know, one a month, whatever, you know, if you're in this to make some money, to really stack up a bunch of collectibles for the Marvel Master Collector program, then this is the kind of the direction you want to go. Now, I've done really well on, like, I've noticed this decon stuff has had a real nice run. It went sideways forever. And the Wanderers, I've actually done pretty good on. I got in some low mints right off the rip pretty early, held on to them, and then boom, we got this big pump, because there's a lot of speculation and talk that with the migration and getting on OpenSea and all that art always does well. I mean, if you look on OpenSea, it's basically all art. You know, it's not like Veve where it's 3D collectibles and you can see all kinds of crazy views and take pictures with it. So there's a lot of speculation that this decon art is going to hold up well. Plus, you look at it kind of from like a Givenchy art standpoint, it's just going to hold up well long term, I feel. But I did buy a Wanderers today, as a matter of fact, for $300. I'm probably going to offload this about 450 to 500, make a nice little, chunk of change profit. And let's go ahead and scroll down here and see what else we can find. They got the Back to the Future posters. This is kind of like the, serial killers. Now, don't get me wrong, it's Back to the Future. I love it. The posters have always done good, but this guy really just hasn't moved a whole lot. He had this one little spike, but you could have thrown a dart on, around January 17th when everything just went crazy and shot way up there, but then come back down. So it had an all-time high of, 572, sitting around 299 right now. You could probably buy a few of these, sell them at the $370 to $400 range, but it might be a week, might be two. Just depends on how much they're going to be dropping before too long, since we've got the migration done. So right now it's kind of, damned if you do, damned if you don't pull the trigger on one of those. And this is another reason with the serial killers, the 2-ton Sam, sitting at $56, 13% down on the day. It's $9 down. And he's just done nothing but gone sideways for the most part since he's been out. He had this little spike on the 17th, which everything did. He had a little pump here, but the serial killers just are not a good play in my opinion. But this also tells you the Mighty Marvels, the ultra rare right now, $410 Athena, just down $65 on the 24-hour day. It's 13% down. And I remember, I think my dad got this one, and we sold it around $200 so he could get some gems when this initially came out. So it's kind of went sideways, had a nice little pump here, and it's consolidated. Let's see. So the Invisible Woman, I feel like these are going to be really good ones to stack, because right off the bat, I think it was the mint drop was $50, and then it kind of went underpriced for a while, and then shot up to 100, and then just kind of dwindled down this whole time. We had some drops, and then built back up, and then it's kind of flat. But then you look at Captain America. Now, granted, probably not as much, status as Captain America, but at $53, that's just about entry price on those. And stacking those for long term, I feel like will do good. The Supernova Decon picture, sitting at $230, just was going sideways forever around the $130 range. And we had this nice pop to $290, and it's really, stood real strong, even with this gem squeeze dip going. At $230 right now, it's down $29 on the 24-hour change at 11% down. So I think that's a pretty solid play just for the fact that it's holding up real well. And the one thing you got to understand is with Veve that's happened so far, they've had two real big drops going on this weekend. So the gem squeeze is real. It's going to happen, especially about 6 to 7 hours before the drop. People are going to be going crazy, and they're going to be selling stuff off at stupid prices, and that's where you can make a lot of your money. But if they don't really do anything for the next 2 weeks and it's just kind of minimum drops, comics, a lot of people are going to have a lot of gems on the sideline and want to start, dumping that into collectibles to potentially hold or flip later on. And usually when that happens, that's when we start going from this sideways to this big pop and come back down, but not as far. So keep that in mind. That's just a couple things that are on here. Even the Batmans have really pulled back a lot more than I thought. The Darwin Cook Batman is sitting at $230. I think he was around $400, $500 there for a little while. He's down $26.5 on the 24-hour, down 10%. And if you look, this kind of makes you sick, and this is where the importance of stacking is. So for a long time, this dude set at $50, ran up to 70. All right, we're getting a little ground. We're at 100. And then he shot way up to 350 and is back to 230. But if you look, we got higher highs every time going up, and we're just about to hit this resistant line right at the 219. He's sitting at 230. So I think it's a real good buy around the 230, 225 range, depending on how everything goes. So with that all being said, there's just a couple things I wanted to go over, things to look at if you're new to the app. Feel free to ask questions on here. I'll be more than happy to answer it. With these two drops coming this weekend, you got Disney and you've got Marvel, and it's big characters and a lot of them. And what I'm going to be playing on is I feel like a lot of people are going to unload their whole gems flow, if you will, into the Disney tomorrow, trying to get all these, trying to get the whole set, because it's a decent sized set. I think it's like 6 of them. And I feel like Goofy's probably going to go for around $1,000, and people that really are, about completing those sets are just going to dump a ton of money. And if people are trying to stack these, because long term, these are just going to go up, I feel. Then people are going to be scrambling to sell everything off to get the Spider-Man Mighty Marvels the next day, and they're going to be seeing prices. They're going to be FOMOing. Once that market opens up, people's going to want that Spider-Man. And that's also another way that you can get these good collectibles for a good price is the secondary market. People's going to be trying to sell because it's going up, and they're trying to get that $100, and then they can't get it. Now it's going up here, and now they're selling something else, and you just start getting FOMO mode, and everything just goes crazy. And I've been there, I've done it. I'm trying not to do that ever again, but I understand, that's just, human nature and the way things go. So you can also make a lot of moves the next day on the Mighty Marvels. But anyway, if you like this video, want to see more, be sure to like, subscribe, drop me a comment. I sure would appreciate it. And until next time, we'll holler.